So in part three of the book, it's all about before you say I do. So let's talk about cohabitation and prenups for the community.
Since, we had this like 20-year period of flux and it's still not settled. Like, keep in mind, it's over a decade,
Yeah.
right? That it's been the law of the land. And it still sort of seems new.
Cohabitation agreements are specifically really, do, how would you say it, Shari?
No, they're extra crucial
for around this community.
For the community, because since you have this long history in flux, they have a greater chance of perhaps living together as domestic partners, and different things like that, where there are no rights. So, and again, even if like some people prefer to have a civil union. Some people believe marriage, that's just,
archaic and, old school and just not with the modern times.
And different reasons why they may not want to do it. So if you have a civil union, you really need some kind of agreement. They tend to call them civil union agreements.
Is common law marriage still common? Is that still a thing?
Common law marriage is still available in states, certainly not in Jersey and New York. And it was the whole concept that if you live together long enough, that you have rights. Jersey and New York, for example, expressly have laws that if you want any kind of rights and whatever, and you're not married, you need an agreement. And it will only be upheld if it's in writing. And they actually have a special law for domestic partnerships. They've got a special law, really long, complicated one for prenups. So, and that's really throughout the country that there's really starting to give more laws, put it in writing. We don't want to be fighting out he said, she said's in the court.
When it comes to prenups, is there any, we talked about this, we deep dive on prenups when you were previously on. Is there anything in specific that the LGBTQIA plus community should know when it comes to their prenups? Is there any slight legal differences, anything with jargon that we should be aware of?
One of my biggest things is that in the event that they either live together for an extensively long period or were in a domestic partnership or a civil union, marriage rights are pretty clear cut. There's stuff you own before the marriage. There's stuff that is owned after the marriage. But if you've been in a domestic partnership, civil union, whatever, the laws don't say, oh, but if you had a domestic partnership, we'll include that too. Or if you were in a civil union. So you, by having a prenup, can sort of set things back and really make it very clear when you want those rights to start accruing. And that can be done by agreement. And if it's not done by agreement, it really probably won't be. And it'll be the date of marriage, even if you have together built up a lot of assets and things.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that, say you get married and in the meantime you purchase a second home or a third home or rental property, you build a business together, you have children, all that comes into play. So I know it might be scary to think about having a prenup, but because you assume that means that you're going to get divorced. You think it means that it's a bad omen or something, and it really isn't. It's just protecting both of you if, God forbid, that did happen. But also, I think in death, it's kind of like a will, isn't it?
Right?
That's a big one.
Exactly. And it's really, there's so much stigma around prenups, and it's insurance. You have to... I really advocate people viewing it as insurance. You never, there are people in New Jersey, like you're required to have car insurance, but like you have to have car insurance in the event something happens. So I really...
And can I tell you, and we're just, one of the, in this field, there's a couple things we really push for. You go get wedding insurance.
Yes.
We're firm believers. You got to do it. And number two, if nothing else, a prenup forces you to have the conversation
before marriage.
And can I tell you, it's, we have a lot of people, they come to us closer to the end, right? We all put everything off and we're busy getting that wedding planned. And the bottom line is that they haven't had the discussion and they're very shocked to hear their partner's views on things.